look at two studio lighting fixtures that were made by the Richardson company of Hollywood, California. These lighting instruments were imported from the Los Angeles area over the last 2 years, and both of them were in disrepair and were missing a part or two. I obtained some of the original paint, which I have decided must be a fireproof type substance. The color is unique to the company. It's pinkish maroon, and I repainted some of the fixture because the heat had burned off a lot of the maroon on these. These fixtures are the Baby line, which is a trademark of the company. They're what's known as solar spots. This one would be a senior, and the smaller one would be a junior, but because they're the Baby line, this would be referred to as a Baby Senior, and the other fixture would be known as a Baby Junior. The black and maroon is a trademark of the Baby line of solar spots. They're referred to as solar spots by the company because they're very bright, and they incorporate Fresnel lenses, and originally this was a 5,000 watt and the smaller one was a 2,000 watt, but I rewired these down to 300 and 200 watts so we could use them at home, because otherwise you need a giant generator to run these fixtures in their original configuration. I fabricated light stands for both fixtures, the larger of which is an automotive stabilizer, which was modified and painted matching maroon, and the second light stand was completely fabricated using steel and welding. Both of these lighting fixtures came from the Los Angeles area, and they were tagged with a major motion picture studio name, so they do have a history behind them. These instruments would be wired originally using a theatrical type flat plug and very heavy wiring, so therefore I needed to rewire this with 12-3 power cable with the Edison type plug so they could be used on normal house current. Not only are these fixtures beautiful display pieces, but they are functional for movie making, video making, and the Fresnel lens gives out a very beautiful light. It can be adjusted from flood to spot. So let's take a closer look now at these interesting fixtures. On the Baby Junior Solar Spot, I fabricated a light stand which fairly closely resembles the original piece. This is the Baby Junior, which I have powered up on a dimmer, and I'll show you some of the features of this light. First of all, it has a spot to flood adjustment front and back. It has a Fresnel lens, and the lens swings open to get access to the lamp. The unit can pivot up and down on a thrust bearing type washer, and has the company emblem here and a studio identification sticker over here, and they typically have this little piece of rope which will hold extra power cord on the fixture like that. Some of this has been repainted in the maroon area here, but the rest of it, this lower electrical box at the bottom and the rear has not been touched. It's still dented up and scratched up as it came from the studio. Now I'm showing the stand that I fabricated with casters for the larger fixture, which is a Baby Senior Solar Spot. A tripod type arrangement which does not resemble what originally would have been used, but it's the best I could because the fixture is relatively heavy. It weighs about 35 pounds, just the head itself. This is very similar to the smaller fixture in that it has a focus from flood to spot, and it has a knob front and back. It has an opening front door with a Fresnel lens, access to the light bulb, which I now have scaled down to 300 watts. These are lit on a dimmer, otherwise it would be quite bright. Again, this pivots around. There's been restoration work here because this was in very bad shape. And again, it has a little rope for the cord. As we swing it back around, we see it has a studio identification tag here. And over here is the original power switch, which was for a 5,000 watt light bulb, had to be pretty hefty. That is just for show right now. The original power from the generator or a studio electrical system would have plugged into these two lugs right here. But instead it's wired into a standard 12.3 now. I've got this designed so that I can tighten the instrument here, and I can raise it up and down here, and of course it pivots any way you want it to go. So again, not only is it a nice display piece, but it actually is very functional, as the light it puts out, even with 300 watts, is very even, and it's very nice for filmmaking.